Welcome back to Society Case Files. My name is Robert, and today I want to talk about the game called The Presence. This is a board game that I crowdfunded, and I should say I backed, and I want to talk about it. If you like this kind of content and you want to see more, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Otherwise, I'm going to dive right in. So the first thing I want to say is that I'm going to talk about the contents of what came with this, and then we'll get into a little bit about the game itself, and I'll offer up some thoughts. But anyway, this was the cover that you just saw. And one of the stretch goals was to get you this awesome plastic container that can hold all of the different stuff that comes in it. This is pretty cool, actually. I'm not sure why it was a stretch goal. It must have cost a lot extra to make that happen. Who knows? Now, there is a ton of stuff in here, so I don't necessarily want to go through it all. We've got a whole bunch of spirits that you could play. Actually, you know what? I'm a jerk. Let's get into the contents in just a moment. The basic premise of The Presence is that it is a up to a five-player game where 4 people effectively play these people going to a haunted house. They're the visitors. And then one person plays the presence or a ghost. The ghost can be good or evil, and therefore it can actually either be helping the players or trying to hinder them and basically kill them. So you've got a semi-cooperative game. Now, the specifics of that we'll get into after we look at the stuff. But the reason that I had to say that really fast is because what I'm about to show you would be pretty pointless if you had no clue what I'm even talking about. So what I'm holding here are a whole bunch of choices for the presence. So you've got all these different ghosts that could be in the game. And I'm not necessarily wanting you to see them all because it can kind of be spoilers. The game does have a little bit of that going on. But just to show you, the Mother of the Lost is really awesome. Anyway, you can find all the imagery and stuff, but I'll try and make a quick video to show some of the better art, because one of the best parts about this is how cool all the art is. So you got that. You've got a bunch of counters that I have not popped out yet. These foldouts here are part of the victory condition. One of the things you have to do to win is to unlock 4 secrets of the spirit. And once you do that, you effectively win. These 2 things here provide an escalation of difficulty for each one. So like on the back here, you need far less of the resources in the game to win than you do on the other side. And there are 2 of them. There is a board of the house. It's double-sided. It's very cool. Then we've got the actual characters themselves as well. And there's quite a few of these. I think there's 5. We'll see in just a second. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 8 options of visitors in this. And the ones you've got are the medium. They all have different special powers and stuff that make them cool. We've got the descendant. We've got... the detective. We've got the orphan. We've got the professor. We've got the thief. We've got the priest. And then we've got the paranormalist. I'll lay these out and do another quick video and show them within this in just a moment. So you'll get a chance to see them much better than me holding them up that way. Beyond that, we've got an absolute ton of cards for the game. There's 2 packs there. Here's 3 more packs. And these can be things like action cards or clue cards, that kind of thing. Again, there's a ton of stuff in here. So one of the stretch goals was these wooden doors. So there's doors in the game that close off the different rooms. And in order to get in the rooms, you got to open the door. That's one of your actions. They basically made these neat little rectangular, genuinely pieces of wood doors to act as those for you. Another stretch goal was to give you these cool counters they're called pawns. They're basically representative of the different visitors, and they're all in here. They're pretty neat. There's actually quite a bit of stuff in here. We've got another room. This is the basement fold out, and it has the icons, what all of the stuff means, to kind of help you understand. So, for example, here are all the cards. You've got clue cards, fear cards, action cards, item cards, secret cards, script cards, and script cards. 2 different kinds of script card for good or bad. It goes into the visitors, and then the spirit, what tokens they represent, the different traumas, general stuff. And then we've got, a secret chamber and other things on the back of this one. Then another stretch goal that I actually paid into was this little Ouija board thing. And the idea behind this is that it's a more advanced rule. Like on the back here, it says, rules during play. Whenever the spirit player would say a word to the visitor players, they must instead use the planchette to show any symbol on this board or point to any location on the board. So it's kind of a cool little extra to make it a little more hard. I also got a group of art cards that I haven't opened. And again, I want to say that the art in this is probably the biggest strength. Some more rooms. And then we've got this chronicle. And this chronicle has stuff for a campaign. We're going to get into why I can't be specific about that in a moment. Let's see. We got this cool felt bag. This was a stretch reward. It's got a neat little embossment on there, or embroidery, I should say. These are the spirit dice. They're pretty standard 6-sided dice. They just happen to be blue with diamonds for the pips. Here's some clue token overviews, stuff to help you play the game, which you're going to need, and I'll show you why here in just a second. So after all that, this is the Learn to Play guide. Holy crap. Now, to be fair, while it does look kind of thick, it also acts as the campaign guide, the campaign book. So this whole thing is not just learn how to play. I think only half of it is. Yeah, it's just the first 13 pages are the Learn to Play guide, and then there's 19 pages of the campaign guide. And they are upside down when you flip over from the learning guide, which is kind of cool. But so that's just the learning guide and the campaign book in this big thing. And then this is the rule book. It's hefty. On the back, it has some remember stuff, things that you want to remember while playing, the icons again, and the round overview of basically how to play. And then you've got like a picture on these 2 pages that goes into what everything is, all of the cards, all the tokens, that kind of stuff. Now, I'm going to need my phone for the next part. Okay, I'm back. I had to get out my phone because I started to use the Learn to Play guide so that I could help sort of explain what this game's all about on this video, rather than just show you all the cool stuff. Kind of wanted to give you an idea of what you're doing in it. Problem was that I read the guide and I'm like, holy crap, this is very complex, or at least it was to me. Please note that maybe I'm a total idiot and I expect full responsibility that for whatever reason, I struggled to learn this, and maybe it's entirely on me. However, in that said, I went to the video that they recommend in the book, which is from them, and it's a how to play guide. It is just shy of an hour long. I don't have any games that take that long to explain how to play them, beside this one. Like the most complex games I have, you can learn in about 10, 15 minutes tops and start working into some more advanced techniques and strategies in order to, better enjoy the game. This game has an hour-long video to learn how to do it, and that's just crazy. The setup is nuts. I gotta be honest, the way they explain things, it didn't really work that well for me. Nothing against them at all. They do a great job of explaining. At least they're going through it with minute detail. It's just that for whatever reason, I personally was just feeling lost. I think it's because there are too many concepts and they're throwing them at me too quickly. Which, I mean, I guess in some ways, how else are they going to explain a game that has as much going on as this one without telling it to you? But I guess the manner in which it's presented, it was just overwhelming. I didn't really like it the way they did it. Hey folks, I wanted to cut in to the video because some other things have come up and I wanted to clarify a few points. So one of the coolest parts about the Presence is that the people who make it are freaking passionate and awesome, and they love this product and they're determined to see it succeed. I already put in the video that the mod for Tabletop Simulator is free, so you could just download it and use it. And in fact, they offered me the opportunity to have a learning session to try it out and get some help from them to understand the game better. This came about because I went to the Kickstarter and I said, this is probably the top 5 most beautiful games I've picked up from Kickstarter, but I found the rules to be challenging. And they came out and said, let's link up on the Discord and we'll run you through some training through the Tabletop Simulator version. So that was freaking awesome. They are amazing, and just the interaction alone made me want to do a quick cut in and just say that this game is definitely worth your time to try. This company is going to be awesome. Whatever they come out with next will probably be just as awesome. So anyway, that's all I had to say. Back to the normal video. So I took it upon myself to find a few ways to try and break it down. Everything from like asking questions online to reading reviews to watching other videos. And I basically compiled something that I feel like I can share. So just the very high level stuff. It's sort of that ghost story where the ghost may or may not be good and it has unfinished business and the visitors are basically there to either satiate curiosity or get involved or, stop it, save it, whatever. As I said before, the ghost can be good or bad. If it's good, then it wins when the players win. And if it's bad, it wins when it screws people over. So one of the things you can do as a bad version of the ghost is pretend to be on their side and do a few things to make it look like you're helping and then hose them towards the end. The ghosts can't communicate with the visitors, so that player can't talk to the other players. They have to do what it takes within the rules to either like attract them to a location or give them something that would lure them to an answer that the ghost is trying to provide. Now, likewise, visitors can only talk to one another. So like if I'm playing a character and this person's playing someone, then I can only talk to them if we are in the same room in the game. So if we split up, we can no longer talk. And if we have to overcome some kind of obstacle, we're totally on our own. And what makes that more interesting is that time is of the essence. So you don't really have the luxury of sticking together. You're going to have to split up if you intend to win. So that makes it a little bit more challenging. And it's also a little weird to be at a board game table with a whole bunch of players and you really can't talk to each other. And in a cooperative game, that's actually kind of a disadvantage. It's kind of cool. So I've got the victory conditions. Visitors win by locating and revealing the 4 secrets of the spirit's past. It's kind of hard to explain exactly how that works because you effectively have to use clues, but there's like an action that will do it, but then there's these harsh consequences. And even if you do use clues, they have to match a specific icon. And if they don't, there are consequences. It's really crazy. These foldouts I showed earlier show how many clues are required to reveal it safely, I guess is the best way to say it. But again, they have to match the symbols and it's wild. Trust me, it's wild. So basically, you explore the manor and you're looking for clues and information. And there's many ways that you can do it. Each visitor has their own sort of powers. Like the Descendant has the ability to find a clue just by starting the game. Other people have abilities to look at things. When you uncover a new section of the house, you can look for a clue. I'm not entirely sure how you can get enough clues to win because, again, I even going through the rules, I'm not entirely sure how this game works yet. But I do have a solution, which I'll talk about in a moment. The spirit wins, again, if it's good, by the players winning. But if it's bad, it can win by fulfilling either a hidden goal, because each of the spirits has a script, and the script can be different each time. But like the most basic script is all the players win, the good ghost wins. The bad ghost needs to like get a resource up to a certain level, and then it wins. So pretty simple in that regard, I guess. There are some more complex scripts available to make it more interesting. And again, I mentioned before, there's a campaign mode where you play through multiple stories to get the full tale of one of the spirits in particular. I have a feeling that if this does well, and honestly, it did pretty well on the Kickstarter, that they will likely add another campaign at some point. I'm not sure how they would, probably just more cards and stuff, but however they do it, that should be cool. So how would I learn this game if I was you? I personally think that it's too complex. Just the rules themselves, learning them and watching that video gave me this sense that the game's overly complicated for what they're trying to accomplish. Not to mention the fact that I'm not super fond of the semi-cooperative play. The sense that you could be a bad ghost and trying to win. I don't play with anybody who is like competitive enough for that to be fun for them. And even if I did have one player who was, all the rest of my friends are much more cooperative minded folks. I sort of had the impression that the ghost was going to be an NPC for some reason, but to be very fair, I backed this quite a ways back, and I don't even remember what my mindset was when I saw it. I might have just seen the pretty pictures and been like, bye. To be honest, I don't remember much about the gameplay other than it said, there's a ghost, people are visiting it, it's the Victorian era, go crazy. And I was like, yes. Now that I have it, I don't really know that I would want someone to be the bad ghost because, I don't know, I don't want 4 people at the table to be like, man, that sucks. And one guy being like, but I won. That's not very much fun. I don't know. I guess I'm just a Care Bear because I do much prefer, cooperative games, especially with groups. With Warhammer, it's different. It's 1v1. That's a lot different to me. But when you got a whole group and 4 of the people are going to be like out and one guy is going to be the winner, or even vice versa, 4 people are winning, one person's bummed. I don't know. Maybe it's all just like, hey, it was just fun doing it. But I don't know. That's not really how competition works. Somebody is usually a little bent out of shape. Anyway, all of that said, and aside from my disdain for the competitive nature of the bad ghost, I think that the best way to learn this game would be to get it on Tabletop Simulator. They have an official mod for it. They talked about it on their website, and I think I saw it in the video as well, but I'll link it. I would probably buy it there. I haven't done it yet, but I'm guessing that it has the script to set the board up so that you can see for sure exactly what it's going to look like to properly play it, and then go through a few rounds there and hope that, it makes sense with the scripting. If the scripting ends up not making sense, and I apologize if you go out and try and it costs money or whatever, then I don't know what to tell you. I mean, watch the 55-minute long video and see if it makes sense to you, and maybe it will. Let's be honest, sometimes training doesn't work for everybody. And what's sad here is that there are 2 approaches. You can read it, which usually people my age are loving that. I mean, we're all into reading because that's all we got to do as kids. They like, here's a textbook, go crazy. And then there's a video, which I got to be honest, I've kind of adapted to. I like to watch a how-to video for a game, at least one. And usually they're, at most 25 minutes. I mean, that's a really long one. But traditionally they're between 10 and 15 minutes to give you the gist, to give you the basic core mechanics of the game, so that when you go to the rules, you've already got a fair foundation to then build upon and then play the game. But the 55-minute video didn't provide a foundation. It was all-encompassing. It was very thorough. That's great. However, it's just not enough. Now, I'm going to admit that when I first played Elder Signs, I found a few of the rules a little confusing. For the most part, I got it, but there was a couple of things that I wasn't 100% clear on. Then I got the video game for the iPad, and it's very simple. You know, you just, it is the board game with a few things stripped out, but it showed me how you could do the elements of the game that I was confused about. One of them was involving the Midnight Tracker. If you've ever played Elder Signs, it's a dice game, match symbols to cards, defeat those cards, get stuff, continue on, try to stop a monster. I didn't understand a couple of elements. The video game covered that for you because it's basically the GM. And at that point, I was able to incorporate that into the board game. And it made perfect sense then. I went back and I read the rules. I'm like, now I freaking get it because I've seen it in action. And that's what videos do as well. So back when I got Elder Signs, I couldn't find any videos, whatever reason. So I had to figure it out on my own. But this, primarily, I didn't find too many videos that go into detail in the way I needed them to. It's not to say they're not out there. And if you have a video like that and you're watching this, I apologize that I missed it. Please comment and let me know. And I will go and watch your video and be grateful. But as it stands, at least right now, and by the way, I did just get this, not even a few days ago, it showed up in the mail. So this is brand freaking new. And I don't know how many people have had a chance to deep dive play this outside of the community that was super interested in it when it was announced, or beta testers or whatever. So as more people get the opportunity to get in and play it, we're going to have more videos of people saying, hey, you know, I addressed these rules that were a little, difficult to understand, or this is how I interpreted it, or whatever, and we'll get past that. Now, that said, there's a lot of games to play. A lot of games. And I mean, I have board games I haven't even opened. And I've got games that are simpler and that I've invested more money into that you can just dive in and go, that don't have a steep learning curve. So you could just be playing. And depending on how busy your group is, your friends are, that might be more appealing than trying to play this. And also, a great example is the Cursed City. My friends and I played a couple hunt missions way back, like 6 months ago. And we just all got insanely busy. And then finally, after that 6-month period, we got back together. I had to reteach them the entire game, obviously. They didn't probably think about Cursed City once in that time. So once I taught them again, we all kind of made a vow, hey, we can't let this go that long. We got to at least get together once a month to play this kind of game so that we can hasten it along and actually get some stuff done. I feel like if you got the presence, you better be playing this more often than every couple months, because there's enough rules and enough stuff going on that missing nuances will be like missing a lot of the game. You're going to want to know this stuff, and you're going to want to kind of keep it in mind. I wouldn't even be against having a whole bunch of notes so that you can remind yourself of the nuanced rules that you're like, ooh, that one is probably going to be forgotten. I'm going to jot that down just in case we can't play for a while. Picking this game back up after not playing it for several months might be akin to trying to figure it all out again. Of course, most of it should spark your memory if you have a good memory, so maybe it won't be that big of a deal. But if Cursed City, which is very simple, was something we had to relearn, I think that the presence would be a little bit more intimidating in that regard. And while I am kind of alluding to the idea that maybe this is just a little too much for your average person who has a really busy life, who might not be able to get together with friends to play board games but once every 3 to 4 weeks or even longer, I can say that just from what I've read and the atmosphere and the art and the passion that these people put into it, I do believe that it could be rewarding to go through it. Just the atmosphere alone and the writing and, like I said, the way it looks. I think that you could have a lot of fun. So it really will come down to your tolerance for learning rules. Can you pick them up quickly? are you really good at picking these kinds of things up? Are the materials that they provided the kind of materials that speak to you and will allow you to, pick this up? Then I think the presents would be very rewarding and is worth it. And it was not that crazy expensive. In American money, after shipping and everything, I got this incredible box set for $76. And it is in the top 5 prettiest presentations of any of the games that I've backed for crowdfunding. So I don't know what else to say. I'm not entirely sure I'm excited about trying it. The group I play with is much more, hey, let's jump in, let's get some stuff done. I'm not sure they'd have the patience to go through what it would take to get this game up and running. Maybe with the tabletop simulator, I am going to try it. If for some reason it absolutely blows me away, I'll make a short about that and talk about it. But for now, the Presence is probably going on the shelf for a while for me. But I'd love to hear from you. Do you even know about the Presence? Had you heard of it? Did you back it? Do you think it sounds interesting? Are you going to try it? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Anyway, this is Robert with Society Case Files, signing off.